Yes, people. Welcome to the Triggered Thoughts podcast. Your host, Geniusdan, and my co-host,
Verbz, the original.
How are you today, people? Hope you're well. Hope you're ready for another Triggered Thoughts episode. And this one going to be quite interesting. So, tonight's topic, Verbz, is on the XL bully.
The rise and fall of the XL bully.
My God!
Touchy subject, man. So, Verbz, boy, a lot of controversy right now. As you know, people now to own that dog, well, as of the 31st of December, it was illegal now to actually have those dogs. Not only that, now you have to make sure you have a license. And I believe that they've given until the end of this month, till January the 31st, 2024, I believe.
My God!
Yeah, and it's tragic. You know, it's tragic. Basically, people, for those that don't know, there's been a number of cases where these dogs have, unfortunately mauled or attacked, innocent people. And, as a result of that, the government have decided to take, quite strict action in terms of basically banning those dogs. So as it stands as of the moment right now, you cannot breed or even sell these dogs now. It's illegal.
My God!
Which will also give you a criminal record and I believe an unlimited fine if you're caught. The dogs need to now be muzzled. And you need to basically, they've clamped down now. So Verbz, talk to me, man. What's your thoughts? I'm sure you've seen some of the videos that I've posted up on Instagram regarding these dogs. I've got my mixed opinions, you know what I mean? And obviously, there's difference of opinions from both sides. Some people say, you know what, they think what the government, did is quite harsh. Others agree with it. But yeah, what's your thoughts?
It's a bit of a difficult one still, innit? It's like 1 foot in and 1 foot out, because at the end of the day, I do feel it for people that own the breed. Do you know what I mean? Because there's people that own the breed that would say that they've done a good job. And it's probably evident when they're walking around with their pets in public, how well-mannered their dogs are and how well-trained their dogs are, because I've seen some XL bullies in public myself, and you can see the significant difference between when they're well-trained from when they're not well-trained. So I do sympathize with people that are having to experience this whole dramatic change with the ban. I guess it's another case of, the rotten people out there that's got the breed, spoiling it for the good people that have the breed.
So break it down. You said that you've seen the difference between, the dog, a trained dog, and obviously one that doesn't seem to be,
I'll give you an example. Do you remember that time when I was with you in South London, around my mum's house, and we went to the shop?
Oh, yeah.
We was walking the kids, yeah?
Oh, yeah, remember now, yeah. Was this as you were approaching the shop, yeah?
Yeah. What's going on? I'm disappearing.
Some Hollow Man thing I go on.
It's mad.
Longer Verbz Hollow Man right now in the mix.
Isn't it? Yeah, alright, let me just get to it anyway and sort that out in a bit still. So basically what happened was we went to the shop and my nephew walked across the road, and as he was crossing the road towards the shop, the little side road, which was safe enough for him to navigate his way across by himself, I saw an XL bully sitting outside the shop with his owner talking to somebody. But when I saw the size of the dog, I shouted to my nephew, quick, "Hey, wait there!" Like, quick, because that was a scenario where, as far as I was concerned, I would have had to have taken action had that dog got up and gone for him. Now, You know, people could question whether I'd have been successful in taking action, you know, against such a beast of that magnitude and that size and with that draw power and stuff. But, you know, as somebody that's is a guardian towards a young person or a parent to a child, when you're in that situation, you got no choice. You have to exercise your love as a parent, innit? And where I would give the good example on that account with that dog is that when I shouted at my nephew to stop, the owner turned round, the dog was off the lead, and the owner was like, "Oh, it's all right, mate. Like, you know, he's a really well-behaved dog." You remember? Yeah, he said he wouldn't fly. Do you know what I mean? And the dog was sitting there and just watching my nephew, not even in an aggressive way, just in a calm way. Like it's like the dog was, I could see the dog's used to being around children. Do you know what I mean? And I said to the guy, well, you know, it's a bit crazy though still, because when I saw it, I thought, nah, man, I got to get my nephew quick. But, you know, especially looking at the size of the dog. But, you know, I said to the man, that, well done, man, he's very well trained. He sat there calm, even though there's a kid running towards him. So that's a prime example of somebody that's got their dog well trained, because the dog's off the lead. The dog could get excited, and even if it didn't want to attack my nephew, it could feel like it's playtime. Most dogs, when they see a kid running towards them, they might start wanting to play. The kid doesn't understand that the dog's trying to run with them to play with them. It seems aggressive. The kid gets upset and scared. The dog smells fear and it all goes left. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's a prime example of that dog just sitting there and exercising his training. Do you know what I mean? There's been other scenarios where I've taken young people out with the sort of work that I do, and I've been in a park with these young people, and I've seen young adults with, you know, oversized XL bullies, and the dogs are in the corner playing with the stick and stuff like that with the owners. The owners are aggressively training them and that, but the dog sort of ran over, not to attack us, but just been loose. It hasn't stayed within the parameters of the owner, just gone and ran the whole yards of the park. And, you know, when it didn't come near me, but I was automatically, I've gone on survival mode. I'm watching the dog and I'm thinking, mapping out things. If that dog comes towards me and the other young people, where do we go to navigate ourselves out of the park safely? Because they were like the size of baby lions, mate. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, even though they were reasonably well trained, they were moving well away from the owner. So that's an example of where it's sort of, I say 50-50, decent training, but the dogs are not trained enough to kind of stay away from people that are playing, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But then there's also footages that I've seen with people in public, on the internet, walking with the same breed of dog. You know, got the dog on a lead, the dog's basically taking the owner for a walk, and the dogs have pounced on people, you know what I mean? Ordinary, innocent people walking past. So that's an example that I would say is like an example of a poorly trained dog, because I used to have dogs as well. So I know that if you're walking dogs and you see listeners, I'm not sure if you know, I'm sure there will be a few people that are well, you know, equipped to be able to understand dogs. But one thing I would say, if you see somebody walking a dog, especially a large dog, and the dog's pulling, it means that that person hasn't trained them very well.
My God!
Oh, for real?
100%.
That's good to know. I never knew that. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. Like when I had the dog, I had a Staffordshire Bull Terrier. He was well trained. He was quite muscular and quite big. You know what I mean? And when I trained him, when I used to walk, he used to walk in a manner next to me where the dog train would be loose, so it would droop like this. It wouldn't be straight where he's pulling. You know what I'm saying? That's because of the way that I trained him. So if I walked, he'd stay next to me at a certain measurement, so the chain would be looped like this. If I stopped, he'd stop and he'd keep the chain in that manner. Dogs that usually tend to pull are usually dogs that are overexcited, not very well trained, and are trying their best to run wherever they can in excitement to get to the park, or possibly to even attack people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so that's usually a telltale sign if a dog's on the lead, you know? That's my example. You know, like I said, I feel it for people that have got the dogs and have trained the dogs well, because it spoils it for it's the people that don't train their dogs well, spoils it for the ones that do, you know. And just to shed some light on what you were saying about the attacks as to why the bans are in place, listeners, this is for you in case you don't know these stats. In 2023 in the UK alone, there has been 351 XL bully attacks.
My God, my God.
Wow, so what?
That's registered, so you can only imagine that there's some that are
Serious?
unregistered. Yeah, 351. Yeah?
Well, and amongst that, I take it there's fatalities, yeah?
I wouldn't say fatalities. I think it's probably a mixture of stuff. I tried to research more, so it's probably a mixture of XL bullies attacking other dogs as well as people.
Wow,
You know what I mean?
other dogs, yeah?
Yeah, but there's been fatalities. There's been 351 registered attacks by XL bullies. Yeah.
Okay.
It's believed that the dogs came into the UK from 2014. And now the amount that the government believes are in the UK in 2023, they believe that there's 10,000 XL bullies in the UK, but they believe that a lot of them are unregistered, so they reckon that it's probably 3 times that amount.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
How would they lose track of that?
Well, if people breeding and they don't register them to vets, do you know what I mean? And stuff like that.
That's insane.
Yeah, they just kind of do things behind closed doors, so they're not really registered. They have puppies and, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. Because some people that have dogs are a bit reckless. Some of them have dogs and they don't even give them their boosters to make them walk around in public and stuff like that. So it doesn't really protect the dog from disease and, you know what I mean? That kind of thing.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you know, but you're supposed to have those vaccinations and stuff like that, though. You know what I mean? So the dog is protected against germs and stuff like that. You know what I mean? When it's walking the street and stuff. So when you buy dogs, you're supposed to be able to ask for evidence of paperwork to say that these vaccinations have been given to the dog. So a lot of people will say that they have done it, but if you're somebody that don't know about dogs and you buy a dog, they'll tell you they've done it, but when you are buying the dog, they don't provide you with paperwork. So you just go by word of mouth. Then when you take it to the vet will tell you, because it's happened to me, the vet will tell you can't go by word of mouth. If they haven't got paperwork to say that they've been vaccinated, then you have to do the whole vaccination process again, and you have to pay for it, basically.
That's incredible. Insane.
Yeah.
You know, Verbz, do you know where these dogs originated from?
Well, America, innit?
Yeah, we're talking 1980s, you know?
Yeah, man, for America. You know, they're mixed with like several breeds. They're mixed with several American pit bull breeds. They're mixed with several American Staffordshire Bull Terrier breeds and several Mastiffs as well. And the purpose of them was to, the purpose that they were made for is because the original pit bull was very aggressive and energetic, so they wanted to slow down the energy of the dog so much, but give the dog the visual look where it was ready for attack.
Yeah.
That was the purpose of them in the beginning. You get what I'm saying? However, I'll give you my opinion on why I think things have gone left for the XL Woolly. From what I've seen, there's a lot of young people in the UK that, you know, have a history of doing illegal activity, criminal activity in the street and stuff, yeah? Organized activity, i.e. selling drugs, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, from selling drugs and stuff, sometimes things get a bit challenging for young people selling drugs and they encounter regular police visits, going to prison, coming back out. When the XL Bully boom came here in the UK, and I'd say a few years ago, got really big, young people then realized that because of the cost of a pup, they were moving on from selling drugs to breeding XL bullies and selling them, and you can get up to £1,000 per puppy.
My God, my God!
Well, that was a lot of money, man.
Yeah, and I'm just guessing that's going by a basic dog. So the dog with a basic coat, you might get an XL bully that is like a grey or a black. you know what I mean, colour.
Yeah.
But if it's got like, XL bullies have got some serious pretty coats, man. I've seen some with like actual leopard skin fur. You know what I'm saying?
Serious?
Yeah, like grey with black leopard spots on it and stuff like that. So if you've got like those type of rare colours, I'd imagine you're in a position where you can charge more. You know what I'm saying? So it became big business. So what happened is you got a lot of young teenagers, young adults, buying a dog, breeding them without the knowledge of the dog properly, because you got to understand the temperament of the dog. You got to understand the breed. You got to understand its history, all the mixing, all of that stuff. So when you're breeding them and you're raising them, you're basically, if you got a mum, you're raising her, you're training her, and then what happens is when she has puppies with another dog that's of a good caliber, the puppies usually tend to come out with the same sort of mannerisms. If you don't understand the dog and you're training it all wrong, and then you decide to bring your dog to another person who has a dog, and then they have puppies and the training ain't right, the temperament ain't right, you're going to more than likely have that sort of behavior in the pups when they come. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So a lot of these young people took these dogs and saw it as a cash cow. Let's breed them, move them on fast, sell them to whoever. They're raising them recklessly. They're not raising them in the right environment. So they're probably, I'll give you an example. A young person, teenager, got his own studio flat, raising dogs in there. Yeah? It's not the right environment to raise them dogs. It's not a nurturing environment for them dogs. There's no space. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah? And they're probably going out and leaving the dogs by themselves until they're able to walk them, and then they take them out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, by that time the dog's developed a bit of an aggressive manner, overexcitement, because it doesn't go out much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it can tend to be snappy when it goes outside. Then when they sell those dogs, they sell them onto other young people that are probably drug dealers or of the criminal type of world, or just general young people that want to look cool, want to look tough, and want to feel protected. Yeah.
That's the thing, yeah.
And then they have those dogs, and then those kids are walking around using those dogs like extended weapons. Like when they're out, those dogs, no one can touch them because they're with this beast. If you know what I'm saying, they got no control over them. So the dog will develop a liking for that person that is raising them, even though they're raising them wrong. They're not necessarily beating them for the dog to attack the owner. But what happens is because they're not raising them right and they go out into society, those dogs are not trained. So they tend to attack other people. So that's a vicious cycle. So when these other young people get the dogs, they then make puppies and sell it, and it keeps going on and on and on until the breed gets worse and worse and worse. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think that's what's happened. Now, some people will boil this down to race. I've heard this argument, young black boys or young Asian boys with these dogs posing up and down and going on like that because they're in rap and drill videos. They got these dogs and it's their fault. And no, let's get this right. This ain't about race, mate, yeah? Because I've been around a lot of areas, yeah, and there is white young people that are involved in criminal activity that do the same thing. There's Asians, there's whatever, all different types of young people that want to be cool, yeah, I want to move like the bit of the rebellious bad boy, yeah, come from all walks of life. They're all involved in it, mate. They all have a part to play in this problem. You know what I'm saying? Yeah? So that's where I think it's gone horrifically wrong. The dogs have been irresponsibly purchased and irresponsibly bred. That's how I see it.
My God!
Spot on, man. Spot on. You touched on quite a lot there. For myself, I feel that after I watched the video of the old man getting mauled, it was horrible. 2 dogs.
That video was absolutely atrocious, man. R.I.P. to that geezer. What's his name again? I got his name. Ian Price.
Yeah, that was very disturbing, man. Very, very disturbing, and it just goes to show you that there's people that are just not meant to have dogs, period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Period. Because how do you allow your dogs to escape
You know, the owner of that dog had no idea.
That's even worse.
Yeah, the owner of that dog, apparently, not to cut you out just quickly, apparently that owner of that dog was reported several weeks or something like that before that for being out in public and his dog attacked, I think, another dog. He was reported, the police came to the house and spoke to him, and they basically okayed. I don't know how that is even possible, but they basically okayed it that you can keep the dogs, yeah, and left it there. Now, this geezer that got attacked and killed by these dogs, his mum lives a couple doors away from this same geezer who was left to keep the dogs by the police, yeah?
Yeah.
And what happened was his kitchen window was cracked open. The guy that owns the dogs, the two dogs was in the kitchen, barking and stuff like that. The man come to visit his mum. The mum was outside, yeah? The dogs pushed the window open, came out the window, and went towards the mum, and that geezer did the protective thing and stood in front of his mum and tried to fight them off, yeah? And then that's how he ended up in a situation where he was being mauled by the two dogs.
My God!
But the owner had no idea you weren't there, mate.
That's madness, though. Why would the dogs just go and attack like that? Doesn't make any sense.
Well, again,
jump out the window and go.
I gave you the example. Sometimes dogs are left in the house and they're not stimulated enough. They're not taken out for enough walks. So when they're inside and they're left like that, they're untrained. So when they see people walking past, they're going mad, they're barking, they want to get out, and they go out and they show displays of aggression. Do you know what I'm saying? If that man had been walking the dogs on a regular basis and attending to their needs, they wouldn't be like that. Whether the window was open, they wouldn't push the window open and go out and attack. If they did push the window and open and come out, they'd probably just, I don't know, stand there or want to be patted by somebody, or, you know what I'm saying? But that's a significant difference.
Yeah.
You know?
It's quite sad, to be honest with you, because, I see, I posted up a few videos on my Instagram, Facebook account, and I see some very vicious comments, man. Very, very, very. I was on, I think it's Big Ego. Yeah. I saw a comment this morning, and one woman was basically saying, the dogs are evil, and some of the owners, all dogs are evil, and some of the owners are evil as well. And then one woman just said, shut the F up, basically. But it's very clear from the comments that there's a lot of mixed opinions, because for me personally, if an XL bully attacked your child or killed one of your relatives or killed, you know what I mean, would you still have that same, would you still have that same mindset that, keep them dogs alive? Because you see, sometimes what it is because we're not on the receiving end, we sometimes can, be sort of, how can we be biased, like judgment. Oh, you know what? Nah. Because it's not happened to us personally, we don't know what it feels like. But for the ones that lost children, for the ones that's lost relatives, and they've seen the consequences and seen what has happened to their child or children or, a relative or friend, it does something to them to the point where, nah, man, something needs to be done about these dogs. And even so much worse when you see that there's multiple attacks on the same breed of dogs. Don't get me wrong, I genuinely believe it's how these dogs have been trained or how they have been brought up. But the minority ruin it for the majority. You see what I mean? Because for me personally, I've never really been into dogs. I mean, I don't have an issue with dogs. I mean, I like dogs, but I would never own one. And I'll tell you why. I think that dogs are temperamental. I think they're unpredictable. And I've spoken to, a few of my friends that are dog owners, and I've told them the truth. I said, listen, man, what would you do in a situation if your dog decided to turn on you? And I've given them real life scenarios of videos of of accounts of people that I've turned and said their dog has been perfectly fine, no history of violence, good, then just one night just snapped. I said, how would you deal with that? I said, you're in your house, the dog switches on you, you're nowhere near a knife, you're nowhere near any sort of weapon, And this dog, as you know, is a very powerful dog. I believe it's strong enough to basically take down a human.
Yeah, the dog weighs 9 stone as an adult, bruv.
My God, my God, my God, my God.
So I said, what do you do? How would you, and I've given a scenario, what do you as an owner do if your dog turns on you? What do you do?
You know what?
And there's a bit of silence, and it's kind of, because it's a good question, Verbz. This is a very, very good, and it's a reality question, because we've seen scenario after scenario of these dogs, switching on babies. I've seen pictures of babies that have been mauled to death. And the thing is, what people don't realize is that, you see, with dogs, they're like humans. They have a tendency to be jealous. Yeah? And jealousy is a very dangerous thing. So when a dog can identify and realize that, hold on, it used to get all the attention, there's now a baby that's just, that's coming to the family now. All of a sudden now, that dog gets neglected. Not all the time, but there's definitely a change in the atmosphere to the point where the dog notices that something is different. And then he realizes now that, oh, hold on, this new addition to the family is now taking my place. The dog is very clever enough to realize that, hold on, that baby is a threat. So what does it do now? It goes to attack or, destroy that baby. And we've seen it time and time again. And this is not for me to, be biased, but it's a reality check, because as I said before, there's no way, if I was a dog owner, there's no way that if someone was to say to me, do you 100% vouch for your dog? Can you turn around and say to me on your hearts of hearts, on your life, that never ever, there's not that 1% chance that your dog can switch on you? And if you turn around and say to me that you put your life in it, then yeah, you're lying. Because you've seen evidence.
You can't say that in the same manner that you can't say that about your own child, though, can you?
My God, my God.
If your child became a reckless teenager when they were ready, mate, yeah, no one can stand here and say your child would never ever switch on you with anything. You know what I'm saying? It develops a mind of its own. It makes its own decisions at some point. So even if it's your child that you birthed, yeah, you raised, you spent money on, when your child becomes a teenager and you've done all that nurturing, if they're like, I can't be bothered with dad, or I can't stand dad when he tells me off, or he takes away my privileges, or or whatever not. There's loads of cases where there's the kids have thrown punches at their parents, bruv.
My God, my God.
So, it's the same kind of thing. And with a dog, for me, I'm not trying to liken a dog to kids. However, I do tend to, not for real, but I do tend to use the two of them as examples because I think they're very similar. You get me? I think if you understand children properly and what you go about in terms of researching if you're going to have a baby, and you understand dogs, it's a bit different because you got to understand the history of the dog, the temperament, the rare, or whatever. But if you've done your research properly with dogs and you understand, there's less chance of that happening. I'm not saying never, but for instance, I wouldn't buy an XL bully because the dog is too fucking big.
My God!
You know what I'm saying? Like, if that dog decides to go for me or anyone in the house, it's going to be a problem, yeah? Or if the dog pushes boundaries, it might, because of the size of the dog, it might make me think, I have to be cautious how I challenge this situation now. Like, when I've had staffs and I've been around mates that have got pit bulls and family members that have got pit bulls. When they push boundaries and I'm trying to train or discipline them, I've been firm, because you have to be firm. They come from the animal kingdom. They, you know what I mean? A bark, a look, a facial expression, an energy that you let off. A dog knows what time it is. So even the simplest things, like, you have to understand that if you got to understand that doing things correctly would help your cause when you have an animal. And some people don't even realize, you know how much people I've spoken to that have dogs that don't even realize that if you have a dog and you feed your dog before you're showing your dog that they got hierarchy status over you, bruv.
You reckon?
100%. People don't even realize that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, when you eat, you're the king. When you buy a dog and it's a puppy, you're the king, bro. You know what I mean? When you sit down at a table, a dog is supposed to either not be in the same room as when you're eating, or if you're trying to train it properly, it can be in the same room, but the dog watches you eat and it has to sit there and watch you finish your food. When you and your family have finished eating your food and you get up, scrape your plates, you get that dog's food, and then you put it down, the dog will recognize, I come after these lot. You understand?
My God, my God, my God.
You know that, you know.
Yeah, you feed that dog before
You know that.
Feed that dog before you and let that dog know that, you're starving, hungry, and then one day you decide to eat before the dog. Brother, you might just know what time it is.
My God, my God, my
Is that a fact?
It's facts, bro. You know what I mean?
Do you know is there been any situations where you know that can be confirmed?
I can't say that in terms of confirmation, but I just think even mentioning that to you, if you think about the principle of what I'm saying, it just makes perfect sense. They're from the animal kingdom, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when you see them ramping with other dogs, and other dogs are old, grey, or whatever, and the young puppy dog wants to come and play around with the old grey one, the grey one ain't got the energy. But the grey one would do something like turn around and give it a growl. Not get up and fight, but give it that type of bassy growl, and then you'll just see the puppy fall off. Do you get what I'm saying? Because you understand this is an adult growl, bruv. Like, this, you don't want me to come nowhere near him. Let me move before he gets up and he comes to me. You know what I'm saying? Dogs need to understand. People, that's what I'm saying. And people are going to disagree with me, but I'm just going to tell you the truth. Dogs need to understand that your house is your house, and yes, they live in there, and you love them, and they protect your family, and you protect your dog. But I can't be sitting on the sofa watching television, and my dog sitting on the sofa with me. You understand?
Is that a bad thing then, you think? I see that loads of times.
I think it's crossing lines, bro. You get me? There's going to be loads of people that's going to jump up in the comments and have a go at me, you know? You know what I'm saying? But I'm just telling you
Why
the
is
truth.
that crossing the line, though? Because you believe that it's because treating it like a human.
You're putting your dog and you on the same level. The dog is not a human being.
Oh, okay.
You can love it.
I like that.
Yeah, you can love it. Yeah, you can have unconditional love for it. It's a part of your family, yes. But the dog is not a human being. The dog don't go to work. The dog don't pay bills. The dog can't bath the baby when you decide to go bed early. It can't do none of that. Its sole purpose is to exist and protect the family and bring joy to the family and bring an element of therapeutic happiness and calm to the family. When your kids are distressed and the dog comes out the basket, goes towards the kids, you might have a kid that's autistic. When the dog does that and lays down and does the puppy dog eye look, your kid will be like, stroke the dog, then your kid's autistic energy is kind of under control, if you know what I'm saying. You understand?
Yeah.
Them kind of things there. That's what a dog is for. But when you're sitting on the sofa, watching TV with the dog, or you come downstairs, you wake up in the morning, you come downstairs, you want to go and have your breakfast, you want to sit on the sofa and eat your breakfast, and the dog is on the sofa before you, if you know what I'm saying. That dog more than likely at some stage is going to associate that sofa with his territory.
Rotted.
You understand that?
Guam.
Yeah?
That's
his
deep, man.
territory. Have you not watched
That's deep.
Have you not watched The Dog Whisperer?
No, what is that?
It's like you got like the like Nanny.
Is it a movie or documentary?
Like an old documentary, like Nanny 911, where the parents are struggling to manage their kids and they call that woman in, and they've got like one with a man that comes in and helps people with their dogs. And there's been cases where the man's come and the dog is on the sofa because the owners let the dog sit on the sofa regular, and when the owners want to come and sit on the sofa now and watch TV, the dog stands up, starts barking after them and letting them know, nah, this is my spot. You go and sit over there.
Yeah, you have to send me the link for this.
I'm telling you, bro.
My God, my
that's
God.
mad, man.
The territorial, man.
Mad,
There's a reason why dogs, they're not adults. Adults don't walk out on the street and piss in a corner in their garden to let any passerby know that that chemical smell in the garden that come from my urine is letting you know that this is my spot. The adult just knows I bought this house, the garden comes with it, I feel me garden this.
My God, my
Mr.
God.
Verbz is on the fire.
Yeah? Right. But dogs, you let them out in your garden, first thing they do is piss up the place. To let any animal fox, whatever, no, yo, me there. If you come in there, this is my spot, and I'm in there, you're gonna hold it. You know what I'm saying? It's what they do, they're territorial. So if you put them on your sofa, one day when you're ready, you're not saying straight away, but one day when you're ready and you want to sit on your sofa, your dog's gonna dictate to you, you're not sitting on my sofa, bro. This is my sofa. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's deep.
This is how they are.
We've allowed the dogs to go too far, innit?
Yeah, you're crossing the lines. You get what I'm saying? In terms of what you were saying about having babies and stuff like that, and you know the dogs get jealous. You're very right. Can't argue with that. You're right, spot on. Yeah, dogs have got natural tendency to be jealous. However, if you know what you're doing, yeah, and you have a baby, and you introduce your dog to your baby, yeah, dogs have babies. They have pups. They will become very protective over your baby like it's their own puppy. If anything, they might even growl after you if you're dealing with the baby a certain way. I've seen it happen.
My God!
Yeah.
You're telling me?
My godbrother had a pit bull, female, and he just had a baby, yeah? And he said to me, yeah, come in, man. The baby's in the living room, because I came to see him and see the baby. He had a Staffordshire Bull Terrier and he had a female pit bull. Now, they were both sitting on the floor right next to the baby cradle. So I walked into the living room and I said, oh, rah. Yeah, man. I touched the two dogs, like rubbed their head. Then I walked over to the baby's, what's it called? And I went to lean in there to go and look at the baby. And the female pit bull stood up, showed me the front teeth, and started growling.
My God!
Letting me know, yo, don't come too close, you know. But it's being protective. That's what its job is. So I understood that and I had to just step back a little bit, call my godbrother. He came, removed the dog. Then, once I was in there traveling the baby and the dog saw it and the dog eased up. But in the first instant, the dog ain't seen me for a while. It's thinking, "Rah, where you going?"
Verbz, I've got a question. I've got something to ask you, man.
Go on.
Have you ever heard, and this is a deep one, have you heard of the saying, a dog's a man's best friend? Do you know there's a deeper meaning to that?
Don't tell me you're gonna come with some bestiality shit or something, bro.
My God!
No, I'm not even joking. This is over 30 years. This was like an elder said to me, there's a deep meaning. He said, you know why they call a dog a man's best friend? Because a dog will do anything, yeah? Listen to what I said, the word anything, yeah, for his owner. Yeah. Man's best friend.
Yeah, I can co-sign that, yeah.
And obviously I've always heard of the term, but no one's ever really gone deep to say, yeah, that it means it will do anything. You know, like, yeah, if you get what I'm saying, we're talking in code. And I was like, raw. Because, you know, sometimes we hear certain sayings and sometimes we don't really challenge it, or we...
What are you talking about? Anything you mean acts? Like, acts of closeness are you talking about?
I'm talking, yeah, acts of closeness, but I'm talking, you know, above it. And as you know, you mentioned obviously about bestiality and that, but yeah, you know, certain terminologies and words, you know, and I've heard that, and obviously innocently I've just automatically assumed, you know, like dog is going to be is the protector of the owner. Do you know what I mean? I've never really, my mind's never kind of looked at, oh, you know, does it mean no? But yeah, as you know, bestiality and them thing there. Do you know what I mean? I'm talking back in the days, you know, happy slap days when, I don't know if you remember them videos where women, do you know what I mean? And yeah, and the dogs, and do you know what I mean? Yeah, man. Them. Yeah. There was one. I don't know if you ever heard, cuz, of a movie, and apparently it's been banned. It's called Animal Farm.
Yeah, I heard about that for a long time, man.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Well, I don't want to go into too much detail, but I remember, like, around the Happy Slap days, there was a clip going out with the woman with the horse. I think that's where it came from, you know.
My God!
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Disgusting,
that was disturbing. That was disturbing, man.
Yeah, disgusting, mate.
Yeah, freaking hell, man. You just remember that bloody video, man. Man.
Yeah, come off that, man. Let's go back to the dogs. I ain't trying to have no nightmares tonight, you know, bro. You get me? But yeah, now I'm just saying dogs are territorial, man. So at the end of the day, they're gonna show you that they're territorial. They do things for a reason. They're not human beings. You have to, like I said, you can love them, treat them a certain way or whatever, you know, but you have to always deal with an animal to some extent as if it's an animal. You show it tender love and care, but you can buy it a bed, but it's got to be its own bed, little bed.
Yeah.
You get me? You can, I don't know, there's just certain things that, you get what I'm saying? Like, there's supposed to be a divide in certain things.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Differentiation, difference,
they're supposed to know what it is, and you gotta have strong boundaries in place when you have dogs. And I'm talking strong, because if you don't have strong boundaries in place and you treat them like they're your child and stuff like that all the time, and that, it's gonna go wrong, because they're gonna end up ruling you to some extent. They're gonna end up running you. You know what I'm saying? You have to have boundaries. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my dog, when I had a dog, my dog knew not to even set foot in the kitchen. If the door was open, he would not go in the kitchen, bruv.
My God!
For real?
Yeah, I set him that way. He would not set foot in the kitchen. He would stop right where the line is, where the door is, right there. He's not coming in. He'll watch me pour his dog food, whatever. He won't come in. You know what I mean? And when I put the bowl down, he wouldn't even run over to the bowl and try and lap it up before I put it down. He'd wait till I touch the bowl to say, like, yeah, come. And then he'd go and eat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
That's how you're supposed to have them, bro. You know what I'm saying? When you blur the lines, these are the problems that happen. But at the same time, you know, however people want to care for their dog, if they want to go above and beyond and do all of that, deal with them like they're human beings business, that's up to them. You know, it can go pear-shaped, but I don't think it's that much of a risk as opposed to the earlier examples that we gave of the young, wannabe rebellious road boys having these dogs and raising them. And I think they are the big problem in the downfall of the XL bully, mate.
My God!
Yeah, well said.
You know what I'm saying?
Agree.
That's what I personally see. They're the problem. You know what I mean? You know, you gotta have a suitable environment to have these dogs. You know what I mean? They're big dogs. You can't not that you can't, but you shouldn't really, if you're a responsible person, you shouldn't really have an XL bully when you live in an apartment where you have no garden.
My God!
Oh, you think that's okay? You think that's important?
100%. The dog, you need to be able to open the door and let the dog out. Do you know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
You know, and your garden needs to be suitable where the dog can't escape from your garden. It's contained in there. Do you know what I'm saying?
You can't hear, man.
Because you have neighbours. So you got to think about your neighbours, bro. You can't just open the door and say, oh, yeah, let the dog go out, and not expect that one day if you leave the dog in the garden and you're upstairs doing your thing, you think that dog ain't gonna dig the fuck out of the dirt underneath the fence and end up in next door neighbour's garden, then you got a new problem. Some people are arrogant and ignorant. They'll feel like, oh, you know, he wouldn't do that, but then when he does, they're blaming the neighbours when the neighbours are screaming and stuff. No, be realistic. Put yourself in the neighbour's shoes. If you know that there's a possibility that your dog might do that and you wouldn't want somebody's dog doing that to you, then deal with your garden, set your garden a certain way where your dog cannot do that. Your dog is contained in the garden. It can't jump a fence, can't impose itself on anybody else. Do you get what I'm saying?
That's deep, man. So yeah, if you known of any friends or family's dogs that have actually gone over to the neighbour's side?
Well, dogs dig under gardens all the time. There's nothing new. They dig, and they dig pretty quickly too.
My God!
Wow, that's crazy, man.
They do it all the time. So you gotta use your common sense. You gotta do stuff like put bricks like alongside the fence where you've got loose soil, so it can't really dig up there because the bricks are in the way. Do you know what I'm saying?
You sound like a professional, man.
Yeah, you have to do stuff like that, man.
Man.
You know what I mean? Or buy like chicken wire. You put chicken wire on the floor and you line it up alongside the bottom of the fence, so the dog won't dig there, because when it puts his paws there, it don't like the feel of it, so it won't dig through the chicken wire. Do you know what I'm saying? There's different things that you can do to stop the dog doing that.
Well, and Verbz, you're on fire today, man.
It's just, you know what I mean? You just gotta do your research. I'm not saying I'm the dog whisperer and I know absolutely everything, but if I was gonna buy a dog, I'd make sure that I researched enough. When I had my dogs back in the day, there weren't no internet like that. I had to buy books and sit down and read about the temperament of my dog and understand what it can do, what it can't do, what it's capable of doing, how it can switch, how it needs to be, you need to meet its needs and all of this kind of stuff like that. And when I felt that everything that I wanted, when I wanted to bring the dog, everything in terms of my environment and what I can provide for the dog met the dog's needs, then I got the dog. Do you know what I'm saying? I even had a dog when I moved to Birmingham. Do you get me? I bought another Staffordshire Bull Terrier, but I got rid of it after a couple of months because the dog kept on play biting my daughter.
My God!
Serious?
Yeah, like my daughter used to do silly stuff, like she wouldn't listen. So when the dog's eating this breakfast or whatever, she would pull his tail and all them kind of things. And I used to say to her, "Look, man, them times there she was like 4. I said to her, like, you need to stop doing that. Let the dog eat, man. That's a time they don't really want to be disturbed." And she used to do stuff like that. So her being the smaller one in the house now, because she used to do stuff like that, she's crossing boundaries with the dog. And then a couple of times I noticed the dog like ramping with her, and he would like, one time he bit her dress that she was wearing and unraveled it, like pulled the string and it was just unwinding. You know what I mean? And then he gave her a little play bite nip, if you know what I'm saying. But it happened about 3 times where I said to my missus, "Nah, you know what, like, I think the dog's kind of sizing her up, you know, it's time to be responsible and let him go, man." Do you know what I'm saying?
My God!
That's deep, you know.
Yeah, so even though it's her fault for ramping with the dog and setting that in the first place, the dog's gonna react. So I didn't want to take no chances. And if I had any dog, I'm not gonna leave no dog in the house by itself with my young child, if you get what I'm saying, because if anything goes wrong or the young child provokes it, you're not there to do anything. So that dog has to be supervised at all times around the child. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Well said, boy.
You know?
Yeah, man.
So yeah, it's a bit of a mad one, you get me? What do you think? Let me ask you a question. I got my idea of this, but what do you think? Do you think the ban is enough?
Well, the thing is, if you see what the government have said about, has to be on a lead, has to be muzzled, and needs to be registered. And the thing is, obviously all these things are not, complied with, then obviously there's consequences, isn't it? Criminal record and a fine, potential imprisonment. You see what I mean? In terms of the dogs being banned, I'll be honest with you, like you see, none of my relatives or anyone that I know personally has been attacked by one of those dogs, but I can guarantee you that if there had been a situation like that, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I'll be like, yeah, ban the dogs. I'm being honest with you. I think
most people would, to be fair, if you're being realistic.
Yeah, but then on the other hand, you have a lot of people that will disagree. And then my question is to those people that would disagree, if your own dog, God forbid that, it doesn't happen, but if it turned on you or turned on your child, will you still hold those same views and thoughts? Keep the dogs alive, don't ban them? That's a good question. Because we haven't experienced something, we don't think like that, because it's never happened to us. We don't think like that. But the minute something like that happens to someone, I guarantee it sways their thoughts. All of a sudden, look what's happened recently. Because there's been 2 dogs. I don't know if you've seen the post that I put up. One dog was set alight, fractured jaw.
Yeah.
Then the other one today, that one of them, my man posted up with the dog. I don't know, was it edibles or something like that? Poison the dog.
Yes.
So
I'm very careful, because one thing I realize, in today's society, and I'm going to say it straight, I might get backlash for it, but I'm going to be real. I think modern society now has a very poor tendency to have a lot more sympathy for dogs than it does human beings.
My God!
Listen, fact. I see.
When those type of posts come up, yeah?
Listen,
when those type of
comments and, man, the passion. And I say to myself, like, wow, I don't really see that same level of passion towards our fellow human beings, man, and it's quite scary. Look at the situation when them dogs, the man with the policeman, and I think that there was in a situation where his dog must have got into a little tangle with another, member of the public's dog, and then, the police were called, and then they saw the dog and they shot one and shot the other one. And I don't know if you saw the petition. It went, mate.
Yeah, I saw. I got backlash from one of your followers when I put up a comment, same thing, saying where I see a lot more compassion there for the dogs than I see for human beings. And one particular follower of yours is on my case, mate.
What did they say?
Disrespecting me, telling me I'm chatting shit and all sorts.
My God!
If you're honest, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go and dig up a post and I'll show you where there's either been someone that's been shot or stabbed, or there's been an atrocity, and you'll see maybe about 10 thoughts. Sometimes when I put up that post with the guy with the two dogs, because it went viral, there was thousands of comments. It was over 200k views. It was ridiculous, man.
Yeah, and so when it's a human being that gets shot or is the victim of some kind of violent act and it's caught on video, I'm not saying people don't show sympathy, because some people do, but I think the majority of it, you see more judgment, you hear me, than sympathy. You see people saying, oh, why did he get in that situation in the first place, or it probably happened to him because of this, or you see all that kind of stuff. When it's a dog, there's just nothing but pure sympathy. And I'm not saying you shouldn't show sympathy for a dog. That's not what I'm saying. Yeah, because it's an animal. It's got a heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? People love their dogs. There's not a problem with that. But I'm just saying you have to be very careful at how, that I've noticed that you have to be very careful at how you're showing a lot more sympathy for animal violence opposed to human violence. Do you know what I'm saying? You have to be careful. True. It's a sad state of affairs. Do you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. It's a tender time, like, look after the dogs, deal with them properly and stuff like that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look after the dogs, deal with them properly. No dog deserves to have that treatment done. I ain't gonna lie, it melt my heart when I saw that a human being could do something as mad as to tie up a dog and try to set it on fire, bruv. That was unbelievable.
My God!
Yeah, and even when you see the dog's face, like when it was on the floor and that, I said, nah, man, this is just mad. Do you know what I mean? But you're getting backlash now because of it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's true.
Naturally, that's what you're getting,
I see some comments. One person was like, "No, do the same thing what they did to the dog," and it's man. And I get it. Obviously, that was wickedness, and I believe that the people that did that, they need justice needs to be served. So I mean, it's wickedness, man.
Yeah, you can't do stuff like that. Man. It's terrible. You know what I mean? That dog probably ain't done nothing, or I'm not saying that it's good if the dog did attack somebody and they did it to the actual dog that attacked somebody. I'm not saying that, but I can kind of understand that sort of vengeance to come back. Do you know what I mean? But just to find a random dog and do stuff like that, man, it's just ridiculous. You shouldn't do it to dogs in the first place anyway, but we just gotta be careful with, how we're going about things and stuff. And personally, I feel even with this ban, all it's gonna do is just create an underworld of dogs, because it's already been there anyway, where people are gonna be trading and selling dogs. You know what I mean? In the background, unregistered, like you're still gonna get it going on. Do you know what I mean?
But remember, they need a license though, cause they need a license. You know what I mean?
Who says that?
At any time.
Who said that?
Have you not seen the law that they brought in?
Yeah, well, you can put in that. You can put in that law. You can put in that law, but are they equipped enough to follow that through and back it up? You understand? So I'll give you an example, like what I was saying to you about the man that got mauled in Staffordshire by the two dogs, where his video went viral. That man's his dogs attacked a dog in the park. I don't know to what extent, but he must have threw that dog around like a rag doll. He was visited by the police. The police went there and they allowed him to keep his dog. The dog should have been removed. You know what I'm saying? Or
that's crazy,
he should have been put under some kind of observation. Huh? I don't know.
That dog died.
I don't know. I just read it out that his dog attacked another dog. You get me? But I'm just saying he should be under observation with the dogs or something, if you get what I'm saying. So you can put these rules in place, but if you ain't got people to enforce what you're trying to put out there, it's still going to happen, isn't it? You know what I'm saying to you? So you can say people can have licenses, but there's still going to be an array of people that are going to run out there and buy dogs illegally and sell them. But have you got enough police to go out there and go and manage the situation? No, you haven't. You know what I'm saying? You haven't, bruv. So I can't see it being that effective. Me personally, I feel that they should have done something where any dog that exists, obviously, I know they want to microchip all the dogs in that, but they need to be firm. Any dog that's coming into England or whatever or been bred is microchipped from the start. Do you know what I'm saying? It's on a database or something when they have other dogs, there's some way to find out that they're having puppies. Do you know what I'm saying? You have to register where they've gone to, like a car. You know what I mean? Register where they've been sold to and so on, then they have to go through the same thing. The dogs have to be muzzled. I know they're saying the dogs have to be neutered because the neutering not only stops the dogs from breeding, but it also slows down their aggressive temperament as well.
Wow.
When you chop off their... You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy, man.
You know what? It just needs to be done properly, and they need to have the manpower to be able to enforce it. Otherwise, it don't make no sense.
My God, my God, my God.
Agreed. Definitely, agreed. It's true.
You know what I mean? That's how I see it. But, you know, I do sympathize for, like, people, like I keep on saying, that are going through this, because it's not going to be easy. They love their dogs. They've had their dogs years in. Now, all of a sudden, Rishi Shunak is saying, you know, this is what's going to have to happen, or your dog may be put down, or whatever not. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, it's not nice at the hands of these idiots, but go and find these idiots that are breeding the dogs and doing it wrong and lock them up. Or, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do something where they're just not in any form of power to be able to get a dog. Again, if they do, they might face a 30-year prison sentence or something like that. It might make them feel scared enough to say, you know, I'm not going to break that rule. Do you know what I'm saying? But just do something where the other people that are looking after their dogs properly, but really and truly, even with the other people that are looking after their dogs properly, I respect them. I can see that they've trained their dogs well. It's a respectable thing to see. I can see that they love their dogs. But me personally, I just don't understand why you would want such a big dog.
My God, my God, my God.
I hear you still.
That's why I just don't understand why you want such a big... I love dogs, but that dog is too big for me, bruv. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's mad, it's true.
You know, but, you know, hopefully things can work out the way it, you know, the best way it can do, and people that love their dogs and are doing it properly can get to keep them, and the idiots that are doing it the wrong way, they get penalised and they're not in a position where they can keep fucking with the dogs and stuff, because I don't necessarily blame the dogs for their behaviour, even though people say they're big, aggressive animals. I do blame the people that own them. You have a responsibility. If you buy those dogs, it's the same way that if you used to decide to have children, you're going to adhere to making sure you do things right so you meet their needs and, you know, everything comes out positive. But if you're going to buy dogs and not do what you're supposed to do, then this is the outcome that you get. And it's sad, man. You know what I mean? It's sad, you know? So, people, man, I'm not against you with the XL bully thing. I like XL bullies. They're pretty dogs. They're good dogs to look at. I like the big size of them and stuff like that. But you got to be realistic as well, man. You know, there is a bit of a problem out there with them. And the one thing I would say to you, let me ask you this question quickly, yeah? Because this is where, and any XL bully owners, yeah? If you're watching this episode, put down your response in the comments too, please, yeah? Or DM us, whatever way you can reach us, let us know what you think to this question. Even though there's good XL bully owners out there and well-behaved XL bullies, do you think that it's fair for the general public to walk around in public parks or on the street with a seed of fear planted in them because of the XL bully attacks, even though they might not never be attacked again, do you think it's fair for them to have to go through that?
My God, my God, my God.
No, I don't think it's fair.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't think it's fair.
So like I said, I like dogs, but even me, I was thinking of getting a dog this year. But because of the XL bullies and the young people that have them, or people that have them and can't control some of them, not all, because there's some that can clearly. I was even saying to myself, like my 13-year-old daughter, she says to me, "Oh, Dad, when we have the dog, can I walk it?" And I have to now think strategically. If I send you to the park round the corner to walk a Staffordshire Bull Terrier that I've trained you to manage, and I think you're responsible to manage that dog before I let you out with it, and now you walk the corner and some dickhead has walked towards you with the XL bully off the lead and it comes charging at you, yeah? That is not a position that I want to put my daughter or my dog in.
My God, my God.
No, I respect that.
You know what I'm saying?
I respect that, yeah.
And that's where you have to be realistic. You know what I'm saying? Because my daughter's natural instinct as a lover of animals would be, she said it to me. I said, "What would you do?" Dad, I'd pick up the dog and do what with it? I'd hold it in the I'd hold it in the air. Her love of dogs now would now make her become a target for the XL bully, bruv.
Yeah, I see that still.
You know what I'm saying? And it's not fair. And that's where we have to sort of understand people that ain't really or have a fear of the XL bully. We have to look at both sides of the fence, because both sides have a legitimate argument as to why they don't want to lose their dog, but the side that are scared of them and don't want them around, they got a bit of a legitimate argument too, because it's dangerous, man. Scenarios pop up. Look at the guy in the train station, bruv, that you put on the internet.
Yeah, it's true.
That got attacked by the girl's XL bully in the train station.
He looked like he had the lead, innit?
You see what I'm saying? So, you know, let me let you say your piece, man.
Well, people, man, as you know, it's sad. You know what's happening with these dogs, but it's. Some people believe that the government's got an agenda to disarm man. Obviously the dogs are a form of protection, and they believe that in the coming years that they're trying to sort of just take away any form of protection. That's what a lot of people feel. They feel that that there was an agenda behind removing those dogs. Some people believe that a lot of the videos were fake. Some people believe that the videos had an agenda, and the agenda was to do what it was to do, which is basically ban those dogs.
I don't believe that the videos are fake, but what I will say is there definitely seems like there is some kind of agenda, because you're not seeing no videos or footage or news coverage of any other breed of dogs that's attacking people. It's just all been straight XL bully for the last 2 years.
My God, my God, my God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
For real, yeah, man. For me, it's it's gonna knock a lot of people, because it's a lot of people's income. For one of them pups is like $1,000. Imagine, you've made, it's your business. It's something that you eat off, and then all of a sudden now, just imagine being told now, like you've got a job, and all of a sudden now you no longer have that job. You imagine you breed that puppy, you have like 5 pups, and that's like $1,000 a head. Like that's $1,000. That's $5,000.
My God.
No longer allowed to breed. That's a big blow to, because I follow a lot of pages where some people have, they literally selling the dogs, and do you know what I mean? So just imagine now that was your income last year. Now you can't even. That's man.
You think some of those pages look like they were responsible? Just asking.
That's a good question, because all I just went on there just to look at the dogs. I see one dog with big gold chain. I'm like, wow. Like back in the days, them, the couple of roadmen that would have the big chain, and they have the mean look.
Yeah.
I see one dog. The one dog, it was just like this, man, and the chain was just fat. You know, no one ain't trying to rub that dog.
That's what I'm saying, man. You get me?
No, listen, cuz I'm not lying to you. The thing look big.
They're big dogs, man.
It was some good look. It looked like, like back then when the yardies used to wear them fat chops. They were like,
yeah.
They were big, like massive, innit? You know, like that big.
That's what I'm saying, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, them dogs look intimidating, man. And even when I used to see some videos and I see you could just look at the arrogance in some of the owners. They're just this bad boy look, and like they're just posing up and they're like this, and the dog is jumping forward, and I'm like, bare intimidation. You know what I mean?
100%. That's what they use it for. You can see the difference between people that have that dog just for their pet. They walk with a different mannerism as opposed to the ones that walk because they want to be feared, if you get what I'm saying. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Responsible owners and unresponsible owners. Two different.
My God!
Facts, guys, facts.
Well, yeah, man. So my question to you is, do you believe those dogs should be banned? Yes or no?
I'm going to try and be fair, innit? Try and be a mutual, man. I think they should try and find another strategy other than banning the dogs. And I'm saying that out of the respect for the people in society that own XL bullies that have done a fantastic job and have understood the dog and raised them well and have them as family pets and love them and meet their needs appropriately. I'm going to speak on behalf of them because I think it's too easy to shine the light on the idiots that are moving reckless when there's probably I mean, even if we look at the statistics for 2023, I'm not saying it makes perfect sense, but I'm saying 351 dog attacks in the UK, yeah? But there's believed to be 10,000 XL bullies here. That's not even close to, do you know what I mean? In terms of the attacks and the amount of dogs that are here, it's not close, is it? Do you know what I'm saying?
No, man.
Yeah. So it shows you that it's quite a small proportion. And I can't work that out in percentage because I'm not no math man like that. But I'm just saying, it just shows you there's more dogs out there, XL bullies out there that are being raised correctly. Do you get me? As opposed to the ones that are not being raised correctly. So I'm going to speak on behalf of the majority, and I think that they should find another way instead of imposing a ban because it's not fair. And there's children out there that like their parents' dogs or the dogs that are a family dog. Do you know what I mean? It helps them, like I said, therapeutically. Do you know what I mean? It brings harmony in the house and the dog's well, when the dog's well trained and stuff. So, you got to be careful in how you're penalizing others for the minor amount of idiots out there.
Yeah, fact, it's true. I agree.
You know?
Yeah, man, I agree, yeah.
What do you think?
To be quite honest with you, I believe, that if there's any owner, for any owner to basically have one of those XL bullies, I believe that they need to be go through some sort of extensive sort of training. That they need to prove that they are responsible dog owners. They're able to cope with that dog. They're able to control that dog, and they're given some sort of thorough training. You know what I mean? And depending on how they get on with the training will determine whether they get that dog. Same thing like with a driver lesson. There's a test. You know what I mean? I believe that they should put it. You know what I mean? And I believe that as well that. You see a lot of these. I see a lot of young kids with these dogs, and the bloody dogs are pulling the kids. I believe that that anyone that's under the age of 18 or is not mature should not even be allowed to even handle those dogs. Because I watched a situation. I uploaded. If you see the video uploaded where the little kid, the dog went and practically threw the dog up in the air. Savaged the dog, and the owner was screaming and crying, and once again, it was a kid. What can that kid do? So I don't believe any child should be allowed to walk those dogs. And I say that from a safety point of view, because if that dog is pulling a child, let alone one child trying to pull two dogs, that's a problem in itself. I definitely believe a background check needs to be done on the owners for one, to find out the kind of person that they are. Facts. I know a lot of people will probably be upset with that. Facts.
No, that's the truth, man. Bible truth, mate.
Because what it is if something like this was done initially, I believe we would have, if anything, a lot less or probably no casualties. Because actually, I've got friends that I've got dogs. Shout out to my brother Marv, good friend Marv. Very responsible owner, yeah, mature mindset. And knows what he's doing. But yeah, I believe that there's a lot of these guys out there. They should not even be allowed to. And I believe depending on also your background as well. Depending on, the kind of person that you are. Yeah, if you're that type of person, then you should not be allowed to have a dog, period. And when I say that in terms of, certain activities, if you've been known for, Yeah.
Totally agree with you, cuz.
Because, to be honest with you, what I see is a lot of ego. I see a lot of pride. Yeah? It's almost like, you have a man that when he's on his own, he's nothing. But then when he's with 20 men, all of a sudden now there's that you're all of a sudden now you're comfortable, you're reassured. You see what I mean? Like, you're confident now. Does that mean because you feel tough because you're around a certain amount of people? But then would you still have that same energy if you're on your own? And you have some people like that. They're only someone when they're amongst some people. But by themselves, they're nothing. Does that mean? And likewise, I've seen even the guy you was talking about, that poor guy, Ian. I looked at the dog owner, man, and I just saw the dog sitting on his sofa. I uploaded the article, and I just see him, and they do the same thing, cuz.
You can see it,
yeah,
you can see it.
Yeah, and they're like...
You want to be tough, if you know what I'm saying. You can see it, man.
Yeah, man. So... Yeah, man, there needs to be a strict guideline. You need to be able to pass the test, be, proven to be a mature, responsible adult. There has to be a criteria. Does that mean? And you need to have it. You need to do the test. Once you've done the test, there needs to be like a final exam where they ask you a certain amount of questions. In a situation like this, if this was to happen, if the dog was to put you in a compromise, how would you see what I mean? There needs to be all these things, because I believe that a lot of people out there, they're just they're having these dogs, but they don't have a clue about dogs. They have not done their research. They're just following the crowd. It's the in thing. Like fashion is a trend. He's got an XL bully, I want one. Everybody wants an XL bully. The same thing, like when there was a time when Machina was in, everybody's following the crowd. Everyone's wearing mosh. Everyone was wearing, do you know what I mean? It's like the latest slang. Everybody's just following the crowd, do you know what I mean? Nobody's really, I believe there's people out there that are generally having those dogs because they generally want them, but I believe majority of the people that have these dogs have them because they're just following the crowd. I'm just being honest with you. They have absolutely zero knowledge about dogs. They don't have the right environment for these dogs, period. Yeah, the dogs are neglected. A lot of the times the dogs are just locked indoors. Sometimes people go away on holiday, leave these dogs unattended. The dogs are not fed properly. So there's just so many things, so many things to really take into consideration. Can you afford to maintain that dog? Because from what I saw with the foods are not cheap. Can you maintain that job? If anything goes wrong with that dog, are you able to afford the vet bill? Are you able to, afford, the medication? If anything, there's so much stuff, that needs to be taken into consideration, because having a dog is a responsibility, man. Not only is it a responsibility for your household, you are responsible for other people that's outside in the public, because it's your dog. You're expected to be able to be in full control of that dog. If you're not, you are an irresponsible person. I don't care who you are. Period.
Very well said, cuz. Very well said. You know what I mean? I like that, man. You know what I mean? So people, as you can see, we're we're coming from both sides of the fence when it comes to this XL bully conversation. You know what I mean? We hope that you understand where we're coming from. You know what I mean? From the mutual perspective. Some of you might not necessarily like what we've said. You know what I mean? It's not a personal attack on you. It's just an opinion. And that's what our podcast is about. So we'll say things that might just trigger you, man.
Trigger your foot.
There you go. You know what I mean? So yeah any last thoughts, cuz?
No, man, I've covered everything, man. People, for those of you that have dogs, just in case you don't know, because there's people that don't watch the news, they're adamant, they're anti-news. Make sure you've got the end of this month to make sure that your dog is registered, you know, that you get its license, you know, just do what you need to do. If not, you will get a criminal record and an unlimited fine and possibly imprisonment. It's not worth it.
There you go, man. Geniusdan told you, giving you that reminder. So make sure you're responsible with it, man. You get me? Let's get 1st of January. Yeah, man. Let's get this dog situation, under control, man. Let's give these XL bullies that are left here a chance. You get me? You know what I mean? And let's make sure that people in public, in the community, can again get to a place where they can walk around without being in fear of a fool that will walk around with the dog off the lead and unmuzzled, running up to them while they have their children. Yeah?
Yes, Verbz.
All right, so from me, Verbz, I'm going to bid you listeners a good night.
That's all, Geniusdan. Good night. Triggered Thoughts.
I will see you on the next episode of the Triggered Thoughts podcast. Big up, cuz, yeah?
Yeah, that's all, man.
All right, that's one.